Alright, we're talking about The Mandalorian Chapter 3, The Sin, and I want to start this episode with some general thoughts. This is what Star Wars was always meant to be. This show has so perfectly captured the serialized, high-quality feel that George Lucas aspired for Star Wars, and it's kind of what inspired him in the first place, those old serials that he watched on Saturday mornings. And everything from the pacing to the music feels right. It feels Star Wars. Each episode, whether 30 minutes or 39, feels like the right length to tell the story it's tasked with telling. And while I would absolutely love more, I'm not left at the end of the episode wishing they would have spent more time explaining something, or conversely wishing we had spent less time somewhere. And last but not least, let's talk about how good the acting has been. The fact that Pedro Pascal is so masterfully able to convey the emotions and thoughts of a character while wearing full armor and a helmet is nothing short of incredible. I think everybody so far in this series has been incredible as far as the acting goes. I also want to say Deborah Chow did a fantastic job directing this episode. We are going to talk more about everything we saw, but I think she crushed it. And the Obi-Wan series is in great hands, and I'm even more excited for it than I was before. I can't wait. Now let's get into some of the details about this episode and what we learned. First things first, I was furious after about the first 5 minutes of this episode. After everything we had been through, he was able to just give Baby Yoda up like that. I know it's his bounty, I know it's his job, but I thought we had developed a much stronger connection. And maybe it's just because as an audience, we had the stronger connection because we know the history of Yoda and the baby's so damn cute. And we had a little extra time in the time off between episodes to kind of build that connection. So we projected our own connection onto the Mandalorian. That might be what it was. But the fact that he just handed him away, I thought was a very captivating way to start the episode, but definitely made me mad at the Mandalorian. I didn't sympathize with the Mandalorian as much. And in my eyes, even though the Mandalorian asked the client about their plans with the baby, he wasn't overly bothered about giving it away. He was somewhat protective of it, but it wasn't until the scene in the Mandalorian Underground where he really felt regret and concern about who he had left the baby with. The reveal about the great purge of Mandalore that happened at the hands of the Empire, and his admittance that he killed the Mudhorn due to the help of his, quote, enemy, is the moment that really changed his mind. At least that's what I saw. Up until then, he had felt bad, and he had thoughts about what are they going to do to it, but he wasn't going to go back for it. You know, he was just like, that sucks. It's a tough job, but we got to get away from it. This scene also gave us more insight into the Mandalorian religion as opposed to the Mandalore we saw in the Clone Wars and Rebels. We got some clues about it in the last episode with Quill and the Jawas, but the scene when the Mandalorian metalsmith asks if they had removed their helmets, and then states that they have chosen to be hunter and hunted, and then, of course, this is the way. I think that really shows how this has changed from a race of people, a culture of a planet, to a religion, a set of beliefs which could be adopted by anyone if they chose that. Also during the scene, the large Mandalorian that we got into a scuffle with sounded similar to Pre Vizsla and made me wonder if he was voiced by Jon Favreau. I kind of caught on to that right away. And then at the end of the episode, we see in the credits that it's actually Paz Vizsla, and I thought it was awesome to know that a member of that clan is still alive and we have that strong connection to the actual Mandalorian people still. And I liked that although the fight ended in a draw, it seemed clear to me that we had lost the fight with Paz Vizsla and the Mandalorian. If it would have gone to the death, the other Mandalorian's knife was at our neck and he would have got the kill. So I think it was just another moment in this series that shows us our main character is not Superman, right? He can be defeated. He has room to grow and reason to seek help and rely on others at times. And it makes him that much more human and allows for us as the audience to connect with him more. I like that. During the forging of his new armor, we get more images from the Mandalorian's past, and we see his experience with the Separatist droids, in that he was initially discovered by a B-2 battle droid before being saved by some unknown force. I think that he will be saved by a Jedi from the Clone Wars. Maybe, in my mind, we get to see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan in a quick flashback scene, with our main character being one of the many people saved by Obi-Wan during the span of the Clone Wars. This is what I'm hoping for, and the fact that an Obi-Wan series has been confirmed with Ewan gives me just a shred of hope that I might get what I want. And my long shot dream for that scene is Obi-Wan is wearing the Clone Wars style Jedi armor, and we finally get to see it in live action, because I think it looks incredible, and I want so badly to see that on screen. We move on through the episode and end up back on the Razor Crest. He has his new shiny armor on and is ready to head out on his next hunt when he reaches for a lever, and the knob isn't there. It's the same one detached by Baby Yoda at the beginning of the episode, and in this moment, he accepts that he cannot leave the child in the hands of the Empire. No matter what the cost, he is going to go and get his little buddy back. And then what follows is great. The Mandalorian sneaks through the Imperial hideout, killing stormtroopers along the way. We get to see more of the Doctor, who I personally don't think is entirely evil. He claims he is the one who kept them from killing Baby Yoda, and allows the Mandalorian to take him without much of a fight. I feel like he is kind of just wrapped up in the whole thing, similar to Galen Erso. But this whole sequence is great, and we get to see some of the Mandalorian's gadgets, including the whistling birds, which are just so badass. I love this weapon. I wish we could get more of it. And during our time inside the Imperial hideout, we never see the client again. That's the thing with this episode. None of the major characters die. The client, Dr. Pershing, and Greef Karga all survive this battle and live to chase after the Mandalorian throughout the season. And speaking of the client and Greef Karga, it is revealed that they were actually the ones responsible for handing out all the tracking fobs for Baby Yoda. I had thought that maybe multiple people from the Empire were in search of Baby Yoda, but it seems like just the client wanted the bounty dead or alive, and they put every hunter available on the job. He was getting his prize one way or another. And that brings us to the final act of this episode, and it's something I'm sure all lifelong Star Wars fans have always wanted to see. A major battle featuring Mandalorians using their jetpacks and rockets and blasters and being the warrior people that we have always been told they are. It's great fun to watch and could have major repercussions later on. I mean, now that the entire guild has more or less been destroyed and all the Mandalorians have come out of hiding, what happens next? They can't just go back to the way things were, and that means this may be our last time on this planet. And if we're running away, the guild is now our enemy, and our tribe has relocated, then I see nothing for us on this planet anymore. There's no reason to go back unless we have to go back and find something else that was in the Imperial hideout or something along those lines. So we're left with a bounty hunter and a powerful Force baby on the run. I don't know where we go next, but I do know it will be a great story. This series, in such a short amount of time, has given me the same feeling that I get while watching the films. It's this sense of wonder and excitement. It gets me so immersed into this story, in this world, that I just don't want to leave it. And when it's over, I want to discuss it and dissect it and stay in that world just a little bit longer. Alright, that's all I've got this time. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. I'm so happy he went back for Baby Yoda, because I would have been heartbroken and had a tough time connecting with the Mandalorian going forward had he not gone back. I look forward to reading your comments, and as always, may the Force be with you. Thank you.